32, verse 1. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest, and unto the prince of the congregation, saying, Ataroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrod and Heshbon and Eliah and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Most High smote before the congregation of Israel, is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore said they, if we found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan.
Right, so they're saying that this land is fertile, you know. So if you have cattle, what do the cattle need? They need grass, they need water. So they're saying, listen, if the Most High, if you find mercy in sight, let us have this land. We don't want to go as far as Jordan. We'll stay right here. All right, come on.
Wherefore said they, if we found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. And Moses said unto the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit there here? And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Most High has given them?
Right, so he said, you know, how the rest of your brothers gonna go to war, and you and Reuben and Gad, you're just gonna stay behind. You see his land right here. Okay, you just want to chill while everybody else is going to war over in Jordan, right? Come on.
Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up into the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, that they should not go into the land which the Most High had given them.
So so the Most High, they sent out some scouts, right? So what did those scouts do when they came back? What did they do? They brought back a what?
A report.
A false report. Right, so that's why he's saying, you know, they brought back a false report. He's saying, it is this giants over there. We can't beat those guys. You understand? So he's saying, like, if Reuben and Gad, if they would have stayed there, then the rest of Israel would have been discouraged to go on and fight and go on the other side of Jordan. Right? Come. Get them.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 5, verse 18. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with bow, and skillful in war.
Read again. 1 Chronicles what?
5 and 18. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with bow, and skillful in war, were 440,703 score that went out to war.
Right, so they were skilled men, skillful in war. All right. So now, if they backed out, what do you think about the rest of Israel? These men were skilled in war, right? So let's go back to Numbers.
The book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 10. And the Most High's anger was kindled the same time, and he swore, saying, surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swore unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Most High.
Right, so Caleb and Joshua were the only men over 20 years old that were able to go on that side of Jordan. Okay. Everybody else 20 years and younger, and 20 years and older, they died. Okay, come on.
And the Most High's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years.
How long?
40 years.
So imagine wandering around the wilderness for 40 years. Okay. Come on.
Until all the congregation that had done evil in the sight of the Most High was consumed. And behold, you are risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment yet the fierce anger of the Most High toward Israel. For if you turn away from after him, he will yet again lead them in the wilderness, and ye shall destroy all his people. And they came near unto him, and said, We will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel, until we have brought them unto their place. And our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities, because of the inhabitants of the land.
So this is what they said, okay, we'll build places for the children, sell the city, and we'll leave them, we'll go with the rest of the men and go and fight the war. Okay, but they still wanted to secure that plot of land, that area, because they felt like it was, you see real estate, you go looking for, like, wow, that's a good plot of land. So they said, okay, we want this, we'll stay in, we'll build my house, we'll build up stuff for the children, and we'll leave them, we'll go and fight, and then we'll come back. Come on.
We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance.
Right, so they said they're not going to come back until everybody else get their inheritance, all right? Come on.
But we will not inherit with them on yonder side Jordan, or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan, eastward.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses said unto them, If you will do this thing, if you will go armed before the Most High to war, and will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Most High, until ye have driven out his enemies from before him, and the land be subdued before the Most High, then afterward you shall return to be guiltless before the Most High.
So he said, if you keep your word, if you do this, then you be guiltless. So how is it, these cats going to war, you staying back, you know what I'm saying, you secure your land, but your brothers and sisters, they didn't get their possession yet. So that's why he said, if you keep your word, then you're going to be guiltless before the Most High. Right? Come on.
And before the children of Israel. And this land shall be a possession before the Most High. But if you will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the outer one.
You have what?
Ye have sinned against the outer one.
So this is going into what? They making a vow. Right? So he said, if you did not keep your promise, it's going to be what? It's going to be a sin unto you. Right? Come on.
And be sure your sin will find you out.
He said what?
Be sure your sin will find you out.
Right, your sin will find you out, and the Most High is going to bring judgment. Come on.
Build your cities for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that which hath proceeded out of your mouth. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, Thy servant will do as my eyes one commanded. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our cattle shall be there in the cities of Gilead. But thy servants will pass over every man armed for war, before the Most High to battle, as the outer one saith. So concerning them Moses commanded Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moses said unto them, If the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed to battle before the outer one, and the land should be subdued before you. Then you shall give them the land of Gilead for possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possession among you in the land of Canaan. Mm-hmm. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, As the outer one has said unto thy servants, so will we do. We will pass over armed before the outer one into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side Jordan may be ours.
Right, so we're going to keep our word. All right, so we're going to go and fight that way that we will secure this land on this side of Jordan. Right, come on.
And Moses gave unto them, even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and unto the half tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land, with the cities thereof, in the coast, even the cities of the country round about.
Right, so you understand in the future, the Most High is going to grant us, like the captain brought out, how our gates are going to be open continually, right? That these nations are going to bring us all their force, all their riches. And the Most High is going to make us possess all their lands and all the resources that they have, right? Because they took everything from us, right? Only right for that what? We're going to take everything back from them. Right? And they're going to bring it on their bowing knees. Right? Come on.
And the children of Gad built Dibon and Ataroth.
What verse is that?
34.
34, okay.
And the children of Gad built Dibon and Ataroth and Awor. And Ataroth, Shaphan, Jaazer, and Jokbeah, and Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, 5 cities and folds for sheep. And the children of Reuben built Heshbon, and Elilah, and Kijathaim, and Nebo, and Baal Meon, their names being changed, and Shipmah, and gave other names unto the cities which they built. And the children of Machir and the son of Manasseh went to Gilead, and took it, and dispossessed the Amorite which was in it. And Moses gave Gilead unto Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he dwelt therein. And Jair, the son of Manasseh, went and took the small towns thereof, and called them Havoth Jair. And Nobah went and took Kenath, and a village thereof, and called it Nobah, after his own name.
Right, so just like today, the white man, he captures all these lands and what? He calls after his name, right? America, New York, the Duke of York. Okay, Africa, Leo Skipper's Africanus. So all these places where the white man, everything they do, they copied it from us. Because we show how Israel, how they took over certain lands and what? And named them after themselves. Right? Right.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11.
Come on.
Their inward thought is that their houses should continue forever.
Right, so you saw things that what? That they're going to go on, they make these movies, Battlestar Galactica 2050, that they're going to go on forever. Come on.
And their dwelling places to all generations.
Come on.
They call their lands after their own names.
They do what?
They call their lands after their own names.
Right, they call the lands after their own names, after they capture the lands. Come on.
Nevertheless, men being in honor abateth not. He is like the beasts that perish. This their way is their fun.
That's it. Give me okay, so this is number the 33rd chapter. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Most High. And these are the journeys according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramses in the first month. On the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians.
So right now, Moses is about to go over, what happened in Egypt, briefly, what happened in Egypt. The events that happened up until when we left, the first year, the beginning of months, right here in Exodus 12. And he's about to go over the different landmarks we went throughout our journey out of Egypt. Right, read.
For the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which the Most High had smitten among them. Upon their gods also the Most High executed judgments. And the children of Israel removed from Ramses and pitched in Sukkah. And they departed from Sukkah and pitched in Etham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Etham and turned again unto Paharoth, which is before Baal-Zephon. And they pitched before Migdal. And they departed from before Paharoth and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham, and pitched in Marah. And they removed from Marah and came unto Elim. And Elim were 12 fountains of water, and 70 palm trees, and they pitched there. And they removed from Elim and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin and encamped in Dovka. And they departed from Dovka and encamped in Alush. And they removed from Alush and encamped in Rephidim, where was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. And they removed from the desert of Sinai and pitched at Kibroth Tabah.
So what did we receive in Mount Sinai?
The Ten Commandments.
We received the documented copies of the law, statutes, commandments of Most High. He gave us a summary of all 613 of his laws, the 10 commandments. So you see throughout this chapter, the Most High is having us move from point A to point B. How do we know that when it was time to leave? The cloud. What was the cloud? Exactly. The fire at night and the cloud by day. So this whole time, this Most High is making this move. It's not just for vanity. The Most High is trying our people just the same way he had for 40 years in the wilderness. He was trying to test us. Let's hold that before we go back. Deuteronomy 8 verse 3. Deuteronomy 8 verse 3.
Deuteronomy 8 verse 3. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger.
The Most High suffered us to hunger, right? You have a question in the back?
40 years. How long was the journey?
It was the Most High never gave us a dispensation of time. To my knowledge. I'm sorry? Hey, but you know our people are disobedient. Just like now, is it easy for our people to gather together? Is it easy for us to be under the Most High all together as a nation? It's difficult, right? The reason why the Most High had it for 40 years is right here in this verse. That's why I went there. Let's get it.
Deuteronomy 8 and verse 3.
But there was a specific reason why he made us do 40 years initially. Read.
And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not. Neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by the word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High doth man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee.
Because when we was there, we still had our slave clothes on. It didn't age on us. Our shoes didn't age. Right? The Most High was teaching us to be obedient towards him. We depend on him, not by meeting our lusty desires. Right? Read.
Neither did thy foot swell these 40 years.
Right?
Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so the Most High thy power chasteneth thee.
The Most High was chastising us for our obedience sake. Right? Read.
Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Most High thy power, to walk in his ways and to fear him.
Go back to verse 2, Salakia. Verse 2 was the answer. Go back to verse 2.
And thou shalt humble all the way which the Most High thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart.
And also to know what is what?
What was in thy heart.
So you can know what was in our mind, right? Right, read.
Whether thou wilt keep his commandments.
Why do we do what?
Whether thou wilt keep his commandments or no.
The Most High had us in there in 40 years to see if we would actually keep his commandments. To see if we were all lip service or if we was about it for real. If we was actually going to keep his law, statutes, commandments when we get into the land. But we know what happened once we got into the land. Right? Because actions speak louder than the word. He got easily brought us in the land in less than a day using the chariots. But he had to see if we was going to keep the law, statutes, commandments. Just like when we leave this captivity, we're not going to go straight into the kingdom scot-free. We got to go under the rod of the covenant and learn the law, statutes, commandments, 100% of it.
Right.
Get 100% of the Torah. No miseducation of the law. We don't be having a full knowledge of the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Give me our 1 Samuel 15 and 23. It was for the Most High to test our obedience. Because obedience is a key thing when we serve the Most High God. A lot of times our forefathers had that issue, like King Saul, for example. Always had that issue being obedient to the Most High. A lot of times our people always want to do things 50-50 with the Most High. When it comes to serving the Most High, it's his way or the highway. It's his way or you just going off. That's it. Right?
1 Samuel 15 and 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft,
right?
And stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry.
Right.
Because thou hast rejected the word of the Most High, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
So the Most High deal with obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. That's why he's asking us right now to be obedient, to keep a Sabbath day. A lot of times our people are divided in camps. The Most High still requires us to love each other like brothers. Still requires us to love each other as sisters. Be obedient. Because the law didn't change just because someone was wearing purple and gold or we're wearing black and blue. The law still stands, right? Let's go back to where we was at in our Numbers.
Numbers 33 and 16. And they removed from the desert from Sinai and pitched at Kibroth Hattaavah. And they departed from Kibroth Hattaavah and encamped in Hazarath. And they departed from Hazarath and pitched in Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and pitched at Rimmon Perez. And they departed from Rimmon Perez and pitched in Libnah, and they removed from Libnah and pitched at Rissah, and they journeyed from Rissah and pitched in Kehel Athar, and they went from Kehel Athar and pitched in Mount Shapar, and they removed from Mount Shapar and encamped in Ha'adah, and they removed from Ha'adah and pitched in Machalath, and removed from Machalath and encamped at Tahad, and they departed from Tahad and pitched at Terah, and they removed from Terah and pitched in Mitkah, and they went from Mitkah and pitched in Hashmanah, and they departed from Hashmanah and encamped at Moserah, and they departed from Moserah and pitched in Ben-a-Ja'akan, and they removed from Ben-a-Ja'akan and encamped in Hor-Gidgad, and they went from Hor-Gidgad and pitched in Jotbathah, and they removed from Jotbathah and encamped at Abranah, and they departed from Ibranah and encamped at Izan-Gabar, and they removed from Izan-Gabar and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Hor, in the edge of the land of Edom. And Aharon the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of the Most High and died there in the 40th year after the children of Israel will come out of the land of Egypt.
So what happened to Aaron? Why did he die? He was the first high priest of Israel recorded in scripture. Why did Aaron have to die?
It says he was commanded.
Why? Specifically why? What did he do? I'm sorry?
He didn't correct Aaron, Moses.
That's right, he was disobedient. He was supposed to know better. He was responsible for the sacrifices, the Day of Atonement, going before the Most High, instructing the other Levites. If he would have known, he should have known better and instructed Moses. But because he didn't rebuke Moses, now he missed out on the land. He missed out on the kingdom. A lot of times when we miss truth, we can't be scared to rebuke our brothers, our sisters, our homies. You can't be scared of that. Because if you don't judge them, the Most High is going to judge you. You're going to be responsible for their blood. That's why he had to go up in that mountain and die. Because the Most High required more from him. Right? Let's continue reading.
And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. Let me read 38 again. And Aaron the priest went up into the Mount Hor at the commandment of Most High and died there in the 40th year after the children of Israel will come out of the land of Egypt, in the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And King Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. And they departed from Mount Hor and pitched in Zalmanah.
Because all the nations was about to go down. Every nation that rose up against us, what happened to them? They were slain, utterly. So every nation know what happened in Egypt. Everybody heard about the fame of the Most High. The Israelites are coming. Just like the nations know we raised up right now. Right? They're getting prepared for our coming. So we can take what's ours. Okay?
And they departed from Zalmanah and pitched in Punan. And they departed from Punan and pitched in Obath. And they departed from Obath and pitched in Ish Arim, in the border of Moab. And they departed from Aim and pitched in Dibon-Gad. And they removed from Dibon-Gad and encamped in Alman Diblathaim. And they removed from Alman Diblathaim, pitched in the mountains of Abarim before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abarim and pitched in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. And they pitched by Jordan from Jeth-Amath even unto Abel Shittim in the plains of Moab. And the Most High spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quick pluck down all their high places. And ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land, and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it.
So in a Christian's eye, in a Christian church, they'll say that's unfair. God is unfair because he wanted giving one people the land of another people and destroy all their things, right? What was the Canaanites doing in the land before we got there?
Idol worship.
They were doing idol worship with us. If you look at our laws, a lot of the laws we got was to combat the things they were doing in the land. So when we see what they were doing in the land, it will be a strange thing to our people. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 12:2. When you look at Leviticus 18, the Most High, everything that the Most High was listening about who you could see nakedness and who nakedness you cannot see. That's what the Canaanites were doing in the land. That's what the Egyptians were doing. Marring their beards, sleeping with animals. That's the type of customs they were accustomed to. That the Most High abhorred. Page 64 in Apocrypha.
Wisdom of Solomon 12, verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft.
For what?
For doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices.
Because it's a custom of them to sacrifice people. Putting a child through the fire of Molech, that's what these people were doing. And they still do it today. Right, Reed?
And also those merciless murderers of children,
right,
and devourers of men's flesh.
Those Zulus and Watusis, they still do it today. They still got that wicked spirit of Ham on them. Still today. Right, Reed?
And the feast of blood.
And they still drink that blood. Every law we got from the Most High God was to combat every single wicked thing the nations are doing that was evil outside of the Most High. That's why when the Most High told us go in that land, utterly waste these people. Don't give them no chance of mercy at all. Because what they were doing was already, the Most High was waiting for their wickedness to be fulfilled. Good. Right? Let's go back to where you was at in Numbers.
Numbers 33 and 54. And ye shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families, and to the more ye shall give the more inheritance, and to the fewer ye shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth. According to the tribes of your fathers ye shall inherit. But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes.
What?
Pricks in your eyes,
right,
and thorns in your sides,
right,
and shall vex you in the land wherein you dwell.
So eventually we're going to be doing what they're doing. A lot of times when our people around the nation, what we do, we start acting like Edom. We start acting like Ham, Ishmael, Elam. The Most High deals with division. That's why he divided the nation, so we could be separate. Right. Give me Leviticus 19 and 1. Leviticus 19 and 1. It's part of our law to be separate and holy. When we want to be one rainbow coalition, one big pot of ragu sauce, that's against the Most High's law, statute, commandments. Leviticus 19 and 1.
Leviticus 19, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, Yahweh thy power, am holy. Right. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbath. I am Yahweh, your power.
So the Most High say, Ye should be holy, for I am holy. You're supposed to live a separate life because I'm separate, because I sanctified you. Because it was never his initial plan for us to be all around the nations around about. When we was on the land, if they're around us, they're supposed to be beneath us. They're supposed to be working in, doing the trash can work, doing being a mailman. They're not supposed to be over us as a nation. We're not supposed to be following their ways. And because of our disobedience, that's why the Most High have us amongst them. So we can learn not to be around them. So we can learn. This is the reason why He sanctified us from the beginning. Give me Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. Deuteronomy 32, verse 8.
Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
Because in the beginning, when he created, the Most High already had an idea. He was going to put everybody's own possession. Everybody have his own place where they were out to dwell, to be amongst their people. Really?
When he separated the sons of Adam,
right,
he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
He gave everybody their own inheritance according to our population. So every time we are around them, what happens to us? We're in transgression. We're homosexuals. We're adulterers. We're liars. We're thieves. And we're in slavery beneath these people. They got everything on this planet Earth, but they still have time to persecute our people. Yes or no? Yeah, Deuteronomy 27. Deuteronomy 2017. 20? Yeah, 2017. I think you start at 16. The 20 and 13?
28. 28.
Oh, 28. Yeah, 20 and 13.
Deuteronomy 20 and 13. And the Most High shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou have hearkened unto the commandments, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Yahweh, thy power, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them, and thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them.
Because when we're around them, what are they teaching us? Caesar Borgia, Krishna, teaching us all vain philosophies and doctrine. That's what happens. We become polluted when we're around the nations. So that's why the Most High always deal with division, always deal with separation amongst the nations. Huh.
Judges 2 and 21 and 22.
Yeah, we don't. I'm going to try to get through this portion.
All right.
Deuteronomy 33, Numbers 33, verse 56. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them.
The book of Numbers, chapter 34, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall unto you for an inheritance. Even the land of Canaan with the coast thereof.
Right, so just imagine that the Most High already set things up for us for adventure. Like, it's like a fixed fight. He's already telling, like, listen, you're going to go into this land, but I'm giving it to you as an inheritance. But things are not like that anymore, because why? We are disconnected to the Most High. When the nations are always taking from us. Look at these Chinese, these Arabs coming to our communities, open up these chicken joints, or they selling false hair. Okay, they come into our communities. They have these Chinese restaurants selling you fried dog and fried rat. Okay, so this is the Most High has flipped the script on us. Right, come on.
Then your south border shall be from the wilderness of Zin, along by the coast of Edom. And your south border shall be the outermost coast of the salt sea eastward. And your border shall turn from the south to the extent of a carved beam, and pass on to Zin. And the going forth shall be from the south of Kadesh Barnea, and shall go on to Hazar Adar, and pass on to Asman. And the border shall fetch a compass.
Speaking of the Salt Sea, you have nations that travel to what they call the Dead Sea, the Salt Sea, and they believe that there's healing power. Right? One time I was there, they had a Edomite. He was he was in a wheelchair. They picked him out of the wheelchair and put him in the water. So they feel like there's certain healing in this water. The Most High took all these things away from us. Right? So all the healing, all that power is still there waiting for the true people to go back over to the land. But right now it's being inhabited by the Gentiles, by the other nations, been trodden down for years. So now it's time for us to go back home. Right? Real.
And the border shall fetch a compass from Aswan unto the river of Egypt, and the goings out of it shall be at the sea. And as for the western border, you shall even have the great sea for a border. This shall be your west border, and this shall be your north border. From the great sea from the great sea ye shall point out for you Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you shall point out your border unto the entrance of Hamath. And the goings forth of the border shall be to Zidon, and the border shall go on Zephron, and the goings out of it shall be Hazar Enan. This shall be the north border, and ye shall point out your east border from Hazar Enan to Shipham, and the coast shall go down from Shipham to Reblah on the east side of Ain, and the border shall descend, and shall reach unto the side of the sea of Shinar eastward, and the border shall go down to Jordan, and the goings out of it shall be at the salt sea. This shall be your land with your coast thereof round about.
So when we went to Zion, I mean, there was like the sister Hanukkah was there. She was, you drive, you see all this mass land like inhabited, acres and acres and acres of land just uninhabited, right? So the Most High is reserving all of this from us. A lot of us live cramped in these apartments, on top of each other, when you got all this land open, barren land that's waiting for us to inhabit. All right, come on.
And this shall be your north border. From the great sea, ye shall point out for you Mount Hor. From Mount Hor, ye shall point out your border unto the entrance of Hamath. And the goings forth of the border shall be to Zidon. And the border shall go to Zephron. And the goings out of it shall be Hazar Enan. This shall be your north border. You shall point out your east border from Hazar Enan to Shipham. And the coast shall go down from Shipham to Reblah on the east side of Ain. And the border shall descend and shall reach on the side of the sea of Shinarith eastward. And the border shall go down to Jordan, and the goings out of it shall be the salt sea. This shall be your land with the coast thereof round about. And Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which ye shall inherit by lot, which the Most High commanded to give unto the 9 tribes, and unto the half tribe, for the tribe of the children of Reuben, according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the tribe of the children of Gad, according to the house of their fathers, have received the inheritance. The half of the tribe of Manasseh have received the inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half tribe have received the inheritance on this side Jordan, near Jericho eastward, toward the sun rising. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, These are the names of the men which shall divide the land unto you: Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun. And ye shall take 1 prince of every tribe to divide the land by inheritance. And the names of the men are these of the tribe of Judah: Caleb, the son of Jephthah, and the tribe of the children of Simeon, Shemuel, the son of Amihud, and of the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad, the son of Sheslon, and the prince of the tribe of the children of Dan, Bukai, the son of Jogli, the prince of the children of Joseph, for the tribe of the children of Manasseh, Hananiel, the son of Ephod, and the prince of the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Kemuel, the son of Shephthon, and then the prince of the tribe of the children of Zebulun, Elisaphan, the son of Parnach, and then the prince of the tribe of Issachar, Paltiel, the son of Azan, and the prince of the tribe of the children of Asher, Ahid, the son of Shilomai, and then the prince of the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Parahil, the son of Amihud. These are they whom the Most High commanded to divide the inheritance unto the children of Israel in the land of Canaan.
So we see how they listen all the princes by the name of their father's father. So this is a royal thing going down. Like some of you, your works are going to be mentioned in the book of life. There's gonna be an extended version of this Bible after we get out of here. It's gonna talk about all the works that was done in this ancient Babylon and Egypt right here in America. Okay, you're gonna see that George Bush, Donald Trump was slaughtered by the chariots of the Most High, right? So we're gonna read about that. Okay, we're gonna read about that in the extended version of this book of life. So we have the 35th chapter, first verse. And the Most High spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they give unto the Levites of the inheritance of their possession cities to dwell in. And he shall give also unto the Levites suburbs for the cities around about them.
Because the Most High never gave Levi their own exact land. Their inheritance was the Most High. They were supposed to be amongst each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Because, they had to go to them for what? Check the leprosy, the sacrifices, different things that the Levites, only specifically that was given to the Levites to do. So they had to be amongst the 12 tribes. They didn't get their own inheritance amongst the 12 tribes when it was being distributed. Continue.
Fifth verse. And ye shall measure from without the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, and the south side 2,000 cubits, and the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits. And the city shall be in the midst. This shall be to them the suburbs of the cities. And among the cities which ye shall give unto the Levites, there shall be 6 cities for refuge, which ye shall appoint for the manslayer, that he may flee thither. And to them ye shall add 42 cities.
So what is this talking about? A city for a manslayer. Because according to the law, if you kill somebody intentionally, what should happen to you? You're supposed to die. So what is this talking about?
The executioner.
If somebody accidentally kills somebody, they will have somewhere of refuge. Because if you kill somebody, who's coming after you? Their families are coming with you with the Dracos, the AK-47s. They don't come looking for you, right? That's a big gun. That's like a miniature AK-47.
I never heard of it.
That's a new one, yeah.
That's a soldier boy. That's a Draco soldier boy. So all the cities which ye shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities. Them shall ye give with their suburbs. And the cities which ye shall give shall be of the possession of the children of Israel. From them that have many ye shall give many. But for them that have few ye shall give few. Every one shall give of his cities unto Levites according to his inheritance, which he inherited. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come over Jordan in this land of Canaan, then ye shall appoint you cities to be cities. Then you shall appoint you cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the slayer may flee thither, which killeth any person at unawares.
Right, unintentionally. Right, read.
And they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avenger, that the manslayer die not, until he stand before the congregation in judgment.
Because he was supposed to go, we're supposed to do a trial. Because it's supposed to be counsel before every enterprise. Because when you go through counsel, you might find out he actually did this on purpose. So he could be judged accordingly. Right? The Most High gave us a whole law in Deuteronomy 18. If there's a matter that's too hard between the blood and blood, let's just go there really quick. In Deuteronomy 18, verse 8, I believe. Deuteronomy 18. Like it's 17:8. Before every action, we always had a counsel, always judgment. We were never hasty. In this kingdom, there will be no, if you actually did it, it's going to be 250 years to life. And you were innocent. Yeah, the city of refuge in our kingdom. We had a city of refuge. Nobody was allowed to touch them until we did a trial.
That's a modern day witness protection program. Yeah, cats being witness protection. They got a new name, new identity. They put them up in a safe house. So that would be considered a safe house, right? So Deuteronomy 17 verse 8. If there arise a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and get thee into the place which the Most High Yahweh shall choose. And thou shalt come unto the priests, the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to the sentence which they of that place which the Most High shall choose shall show thee, and thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee.
Because they're going to give instruction. If the matter was too hard for the priests, for the judges, they always had a Urim and a Thummim to get a direct answer from the Most High. So by the end of that trial, they're going to be a sentence and an answer. There's not going to be no confusion. Nobody's going to be having no pitchforks and signs, justice, no peace. Right? Read.
According to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall show thee, to the right hand nor to the left. And a man that will do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth to minister there before the Most High Yahweh thy power.
So let's say the manslayer, he's still salty about it. Even though they find out this man is innocent, he's just salty about it. He want to go kill this man. Read.
Or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt put away the evil from Israel.
So that was the importance of having a city of refuge. So we can find out exactly what happened. Because you may find that this man may be innocent. It may be that you might be kind of confusing with somebody else. So the Most High being wise, he gave us laws for these purposes. Let's go back to the portion.
Numbers 35 and verse 15. These 6 cities shall be a refuge, both for the children of Israel and for the stranger, and for the sojourner among them. And every one that killeth any person unawares may flee thither. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron, so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. And if he smite him with a stone wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death.
So this is talking about somebody who did premeditated murder. So if they found out you actually did it intentionally, just because you didn't like this man, you were supposed to be put to death. There was no other way but being put to death. Life for life, tooth for tooth. Read.
Or if he smite him with an hand weapon of wood, wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. The revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer. When he meeteth him, he shall slay him.
And you're going to be turned away from the protection program. They're going to give you up to the revenger of blood. Read.
But if he thrust him of hatred, or hurl at him by laying of weight, that he die, or in enmity smite him with his hand, that he die, he that smote him shall surely be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him. But if he thrust him suddenly without enmity, or have cast upon him anything without laying of weight, or with any stone, wherewith a man may die, seeing him not, and cast it upon him, that he died, and was not his enemy, neither sought his harm.
So this is talking about somebody who did this on accident. Right? Read.
Then the congregation shall judge between the slayer and the revenger of blood according to these judgments. And the congregation shall deliver the slayer out of the hand of the revenger of blood. And the congregation shall restore him to the city of his refuge, whether he was fled, and he shall abide in it until the death of the high priest, which was anointed with oil.
And he's gonna stay in that refuge until things cool down. So maybe that revenger of blood might still be salty. He may still be waiting for you in the forest. So things will cool down. Read.
But if the slayer shall at any time come without the border of the city of his refuge, whether he was fled, and the revenger of blood find him without the borders of the cities of his refuge, and the revenger of blood kill the slayer, he shall not be guilty of blood.
Because he was instructed to stay in the city of refuge till things cool down until the high priest passed away. If he had left the city, then his blood is upon his own head. He can't be protected no more.
Right.
Read.
Because he should have remained in the city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the slayer shall return into the land of his possession. So that usually happens. You see these cats, they try to skip the witness protection program, end up getting killed. It's not your fault. It's not our fault. You left the program, right? So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations and all your dwellings. Whoso killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death. But he shall be surely put to death. And ye shall take no satisfaction of him that is fled to the city of refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest.
So the Most High says, don't take this as a joke when you matter. But we know in the New Testament, Yahweh shall change the whole game. You don't have to physically kill somebody to be a murderer, right? Give me 1 John chapter 3, verse 15. Because everything starts in your mind. That's why the Most High tells us, if you even look upon a woman to lust after, you already committed adultery. Because the hatred, the envy, everything will start from inside your mind. And then the actions will be come right out. 1 John chapter 3, verse 15.
First John 3, verse 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
Is a what?
Is a murderer, right? And ye know that no murderer have eternal life abiding in him.
So just by you even having the thought of hating your brother, even if somebody's in a different camp, having hatred towards your brother, you're a murderer. You as guilty as somebody who murdered somebody. And what's the reward for a murderer? Yeah. It's death. You're supposed to be killed. So we're not supposed to bear no hatred against the children of our people. The only thing we're supposed to do is rebuke our brothers if they go off. We're not supposed to bear no ill towards our brother. Because at the end of the day, we're still one nation. Still one king, still one power. So we ought to love one another. That's what commanded by us in law.
It's Numbers 33, 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein. But by the blood of him that shed it, defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell. For I, Yahweh, dwell among the children of Israel.
The book of Numbers, chapter 36, verse 1. 36, 13. The book of Numbers, chapter 36, verse 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead.
Come, brother. I didn't hear you.
Let's get Leviticus 19:17. That's the question, right? How to love each other? Leviticus 19:17. We're gonna go there, brother. We're gonna cover the whole topic. Leviticus 19:17.
Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
Right.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, right, and not suffer sin upon him.
So when you show your brother love, is when he's breaking the Most High's law, statute, commandments. Because what is love according to the Bible?
Keeping the commandments.
It's when you're keeping the law, statute, commandments. The proper application of the laws of the Most High God is love. That's the only love. In this country, they tell us LGBT community, that's love. When you apply the law, statute, commandments of the Most High God, you're showing him love. And if your brother's going off and you rebuke him and show him what he ought to do, you're showing him love now. Just for edification, give me St. John 14:15.
Well, the conclusion is that with the love is you exercise these commandments amongst yourself, amongst each other. right? You love your brother as what? As you love yourself. Right? That's how you show you love, by rehearsing the righteous acts. If you love your brother, will you take your brother's wife? If you love your brother, will you steal from him? You understand? You rehearse his righteous acts amongst your brothers, amongst your sisters. Okay? So that's, that's the conclusion of the whole matter. What did you call? Huh?
I was like, well, you already answered the question.
Huh. Yeah, that's the basis. The Most High said, how do you say you love me and you haven't seen me, but you hate the brother that's right there in front of you? You understand? Just like he tell you about taking your shirt off your back and giving it to your brother. Okay? Your brother asks you to go a yard, you go 2 miles. These are the ways that we show that we love the Most High. Okay? By showing the love, by rehearsing righteous acts amongst our nation. It's Numbers 36.
The book of Numbers, chapter 36, verse 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Levi, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the son of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses, and before the princes of the chief father of the children of Israel. And they said, the idle one commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my idle one was commanded by the Most High to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they be married to any one of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers.
Right. So back then, the Most High has, he commanded nations to give up the back, just like that. It gave us whatever our hearts desire. That's to show you how far that we have gone away from the Most High, that we have more curses than blessings. Right? But brother told me that if you go like the so-called Jews, they have their own banks where they can go and get loans from the bank without interest. Right? But we go get a loan, we paying 14, 15, 20% interest. Okay? They get a loan that is just for the amount that they borrow, no more, no less. So these are all the curses that's put upon us as a nation. Right? Come on.
And should be put to the inheritance of the tribe, whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe, whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel, according to the word of the Most High, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph has said well. This is the thing which the Most High doeth command. Concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel move from tribe to tribe.
Right, so that's important that your inheritance stay amongst your tribe. So that's why they married amongst the tribe to make sure it stays within that lineage. That it doesn't go to another tribe. Right? Come on.
For every one of the children of Israel should keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter that possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be a wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his father. Neither shall the inheritance be removed from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel should keep himself to his own inheritance. Even as the Most High commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Mahlah, Tisra, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brothers' sons. And they were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the children of their father. These are the commandments and the judgments which the Most High commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel, in the plains of Moab, by Jordan near Jericho.
Hallelujah. So these are the commandments, the judgment the Most High gave the children of Israel. So these commandments were given to us for a light, for instruction, for our own use, to purpose to be successful, to be a shining light amongst our people and other nations. Right, so continue to rehearse these righteous acts in the Most High Yah. Khan. So that's today's portion. I think what we're going to do, since we have a lot of stuff left, I think we're going to go. Is it raining still?
Yeah, I see somebody out there.
If it's not raining, we're going to go downtown Broward, where a lot of the homeless people be over that way. Give out the rest of the stuff and do some teaching over there. We haven't been over there in a while. So let's see how that goes. So right now we're going to face the east and close with prayers and praise to the Most High. Khan? Hallelujah. 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 Who's the power? Who's the power? Passion. Passion.